Today we are covering designing Microsoft Azure infrastructure solutions. To find the complete list of questions and answers, please go to the playlist link provided in the description. If you like this content, do like, share and subscribe to this channel. Question is, your company plans to publish APIs for its services by using Azure API Management. You discover that service responses include the ASP.NET version header. You need to recommend a solution to remove ASP.NET version from the response of the published APIs. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A, a new product. Option B, a modification to the URL scheme. Option C, a new policy. Option D, a new revision. Correct answer is option C. Next question is, you are designing an Azure solution. The network traffic for the solution must be securely distributed by providing the following features: HTTPS protocol, round-robin routing, SSL offloading. You need to recommend a load balancing option. What should you recommend? Option A, Azure Load Balancer. Option B, Azure Traffic Manager. Option C, Azure Internal Load Balancer ILB. Option D, Azure Application Gateway. Correct answer is option D. Next question is, a company named Contoso Limited has an Azure Active Directory Azure AD tenant that is integrated with Microsoft Office 365 and an Azure subscription. Contoso has an on-premises identity infrastructure. The infrastructure includes servers that run Active Directory Domain Services (ADDS) and Azure AD Connect. Contoso has a partnership with a company named Fabricam Inc. Fabricam has an Active Directory Forest and an Office 365 tenant. Fabricam has the same on-premises identity infrastructure as Contoso. A team of 10 developers from Fabricam will work on an Azure solution that will be hosted in the Azure subscription of Contoso. The developers must be added to the contributor role for a resource in the Contoso subscription. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that Contoso can assign the role to the 10 Fabricam developers. The solution must ensure that the Fabricam developers use their existing credentials to access resources. What should you recommend? Option A, configure a forest trust between the on-premises Active Directory forests of Contoso and Fabricam. Option B, configure an organization relationship between the Office 365 tenants of Fabricam and Contoso. Option C, in the Azure AD tenant of Contoso, use MIM to create guest accounts for the Fabricam developers. Option D, configure an ADFS railing party trust between the Fabricam and Contoso ADFS infrastructures. Correct answer is option A. Next question is, you architect a solution that calculates 3D geometry from height map data. You have the following requirements. Perform calculations in Azure. Each node that must communicate data to every other node. Maximize the number of nodes to calculate multiple scenes as fast as possible. Require the least amount of effort to implement. You need to recommend a solution. Which two actions should you recommend? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Option A, create a render farm that uses Azure Batch. Option B, enable parallel file system on Azure. Option C, enable parallel task execution on compute nodes. Option D. Create a render farm that uses virtual machine VM scale sets. Option E. Create a render farm that uses virtual machines VMs. Correct answer is option A and option C. Next question is your company develops Azure applications. You need to recommend a solution for the deployment of Azure subscriptions. The solution must meet the following requirements. What should you include in the recommendation? Option A. Provision resource groups. Option B. Support deployments across all Azure regions. Option C. Create custom role-based access control (RBAC) roles. Option D. Provide consistent virtual machine and virtual network configurations. Correct answer is option D.